Disclaimer. Christopher's opinions are his own and do not reflect the Department of Defense or the government's official policies. All of his statements are his and his alone. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bright Connections. I'm your host, BK. Joining me this week, we're finally back to a guest joining me, able to have some time this weekend to get a guest on and talk with somebody. Joining me this week is my very, very good friend, Chris. Chris is, I knew Chris from college and we became close, and we'll talk more how we know each other. But Chris is in the Army, and being that it's Memorial Day weekend, I couldn't think of a better guest and a better friend to have on the show. So, Chris, welcome and thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, BK. It's good to be finally on here.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Whenever you announced it, man, I wanted to be on.
Oh, you just said something. I would have worked you in. But we're here now. Later, better than never, right? So
absolutely.
So Chris, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Just moved to South Carolina like a week or two ago for a job, and yeah, life is pretty darn good right now.
Good. Yeah, I can imagine. You've moved a lot over the last handful of years, huh?
Yeah, like 5 times.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of the life of somebody in the Army. You tend to move a good bit.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes you get to stay at places for a while.
If you're lucky.
I just happen to move.
If you're one of the lucky ones, you get to stay. But I mean, in a way, that's also good though, because you get to see different states, different areas, everything, meet new people. So.
Yep.
Can't complain too much, right?
Nope.
So Chris is as well as moving to new places, another new thing in his life. He's got a young daughter. Him and his wife have a young daughter. So you want to tell us about your daughter real quick?
Sure thing. So my daughter's name is Raylan Elizabeth McCreary. That's her full name. She was born in Fort Benning, Georgia, on January 17th of 2020, and right before all the COVID stuff hit. So thankfully, got to spend time in the hospital.
Yeah.
With her. Yeah. Felt really bad. We had friends later on who had kids like a few months later, and they were like, one person, that's it, in the hospital room, and that was bad. But anyways, no, she was a preemie. She's growing like a weed. Super cute. We just started putting her hair in pigtails. So now she looks like she's 2.
Aww.
Which is nerve-wracking as a dad, but also it's fun to watch them grow up and like explore the world and see new things.
Yeah.
Just send you a picture after we're done here.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Get a nice little picture, throw up here. So is she doing all kinds of what's she getting into? Is she running around these days yet, or is she?
She's running, she's walking, she's a huge fan of the pool. She is definitely a water kid.
Oh boy.
Yeah, loves the park. This kid has like no fear though.
Huh.
So she'll try and like go down the fireman's pool in parks, and
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Pretty much she will try anything. Still hasn't figured out how to say she's all done eating except to like turn her face and go stuff like that.
Yeah. So she's not doing she's not like doing full sentences or
not
partial.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely dada, mama.
Right.
Gups for bubble guppies, woof and moo. She knows what a cow is.
Nice.
So, yeah.
She's got the important words.
Yeah, the important words.
Nice. That's awesome. So, so before we jump into some of the stuff we wanted to talk about today, I know in the past couple of episodes I've kind of been giving some updates on my lacrosse team. So we'll get back to that. So the lacrosse season the regular season is officially over. It just ended this last week. Not the best regular season, you could say. I only won like 1 or 2 games. I didn't even keep track, to be honest. I'm sure the kids did, but I didn't really. It was a tough season. Like I've talked about before, a handful of them were newer. Obviously with COVID, they didn't play for a whole year, whereas some of these other teams, I feel like they did like travel stuff together and all this other stuff. And we didn't really do that. So they were behind, from the start in the beginning of the season. They just were mentally not ready to go, and physically just throwing a catch and just not quite there yet. But throughout the season, you continue to see them just improve tremendously. And so I'm really proud of where we ended the season, no matter what the record was. They definitely came a long way. I think even though we didn't win a lot of games, I still feel like I hope they enjoyed themselves, definitely towards the end of the season, where there was a couple games where it was the really close games, and honestly, we should have won by a good handful even. And we just made silly mistakes, and you can see just at the end of the game, just the frustration on their faces. And I wanted to be upset. It was so funny because I wanted to be upset at them for not playing well, but you could tell on their face that they were so upset in themselves that I was like, I can't make this any worse than it already is. So I was just like, all right, guys, hey, we didn't play our best, but keep your heads up. We'll get it the next day. We'll get right back to it and everything. But they were just, towards the end of the season, you could just see a couple games they were demoralized, that they knew that they shouldn't have lost. And as a coach, you kind of have to read. You have to read your kids and determine, is yelling at them going to do the trick, or is kind of consoling them in a little bit going to do the trick? And it was a mixed bag of emotions, but all in all, it was a lot of fun. It was a really good group of kids, very respectful, very hardworking, just, kids these age, you never know where they're going to be athletically or mentally to be able to pick up stuff in a game. And so you just kind of have to go with what it is and hope that they continue to work hard and be respectful. And they were a really good group. So I'm hoping we got one more week. Actually, we got a week of practice, and then we actually have like a little playoff tournament type thing at the end of the year. So I'm hoping, because they've been right there. They've played so well. They've grown so much. And I'm hoping if we could put some stuff together and do well in the tournament, that it'll all be worth it. So that's where we stand. A lot of fun, nevertheless. Very, very fun season, and a good group of kids for sure. Coach, or Chris, you're not coaching anything, right?
No, I just don't have the time right now. I mean, plus with moving. But I mean, I'm sure the kids learned something from the BK, even if it was just to smile and shake it off, and move to the next game. I mean, you're making an impact in kids' lives, which is awesome. And I totally am amazed by what you do and like hearing what the kids are doing. So, I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Best of luck next week.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we got a lot of work to do at practice. I'm gotta have to whip them into shape, make sure they're good to go.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, right. 12-year-olds, we'll see how that goes. But like I said, it was a great year, no matter what the record showed. But so speaking of seasons, we're huge hockey fans. Chris and I, definitely Pens fans, as you could tell by his hat. Once again, the Pens let us down.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the past 2 years they've like peaked in the regular season, done pretty well, and then they're like, all right, playoff time, and they just get there and they're like, all right, we have 1 or 2 good games, and then we choke.
Yeah, it's very tough seeing them get beat in the first round of the playoffs yet again, which is actually technically 3 seasons in a row losing, I believe, in the first round.
Yeah.
And I do think that this year was different, though. They definitely looked like the better team, honestly. I truly felt like they were the better team than the Islanders this year. Just whatever the case was, just didn't end up doing what they needed to do. They just, small mistakes here or there, mental lapses, whatever the case may be. They just couldn't pull it out yet again. And I know a lot of people are very frustrated. A lot of Pens fans are very extreme. you could
I was
say.
going to say Pittsburgh fans in general are very extreme.
Yeah. Pittsburgh. Yeah, you're right. Pittsburgh fans in general, very extreme. They hold their teams to a very high standard.
Yeah.
If they don't succeed greatly, it's changes need made. Everything we need to burn it all to the ground and start over. and it happened instantly. As soon as the Pens lost, everybody was like, "All right, fire the coaches, get rid of all the top players, completely change the team." I was like, "Guys, can we just calm down? We just lost. Give it a second. Let it marinate a little bit. All right."
We do this every year, though.
Yeah.
And then we always end up bringing back like Crosby, Malkin, Dumoulin, like a few of the other big names. And then it's like, all right, we're going to scrap everybody else, bring in new people.
Yeah.
And then it takes them about like quarter to half the season to actually figure themselves out. And they have a good half. And then they're in the playoffs. And then they kind of go, well, we don't know anymore. Yeah.
It's tough because you end the season in a bad note and you keep all the core players and you start the season up again and all the fans are like, "Oh, well, great. How are we going to do this year?" And then the regular season comes by. We do great yet again. Even when everybody counts us out, we're like, "Oh, this might be close to a rebuilding stage for the Pens." And well, we do well again in the regular season. And then all the fans get excited again. They're like, "All right, yeah, this is going to be a good year again. And we're going to do well in the playoffs." And then they blow it again. So it's like, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, do you keep this core group of guys that continue to do well in the regular season and should be, they should know what to do when playoff time comes around because they've been there, done that, and just something goes wrong. Something goes wrong. I don't know if it's something to do with the, with like the strategy, the coaches have in place. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough running a team, especially when you don't really know what goes wrong. Is it the players? Is it the strategy? Is it the personnel? Is it just bad luck?
Yeah.
It could be anything.
Yeah. One thing I always have to remind myself, no matter win, lose. I mean, it's obviously great whenever you watch your team win.
Oh yeah.
But whenever they lose, I always remind myself, I'm like, do I actually have any real impact? And do I really have any say in what the actual team does?
Yeah.
And then I remind myself and I'm like, no, because
nope, not at all.
I don't own any shares. I don't own like season tickets. So kind of like, you know what?
Just a spectator.
It's okay. I'm a spectator and I'll spectate again next year. And that's kind of where I'm at, honestly, with sports. It's like, it's fun to watch. It's more fun to play.
Yeah, that's a good point. All these fans that sit back and tweet at the ownership or whatever, send letters, whatever they do. They're like, "Oh, this needs change. This needs change." They're not going to listen to you. They're going to do what they think is best for the team. They don't care what the fans. I mean, I don't want to say they don't care what the fans think, but they take it with a very small grain of salt. They're going to do what they feel is the best. That's why they're there. That's why they're in that position. They're going to do what they think, no matter what the fans think, no matter if the fans are angry or happy. Obviously, they want fans to be happy and everything, but no, just sit back and try to enjoy. Like Chris said, you're going to be back next year. If you're a diehard fan, like most of us are, you're going to be back next season. You're not going to stop watching them. You're going to watch hockey again and you're going to enjoy it. All right. So
I'm definitely actually excited to be back on the East Coast now because I'm hoping that I can finally watch hockey again.
Yeah.
That was one thing that kind of stunk about being in the Midwest is Kansas City football was nearby. So that was on a lot, but there was like no hockey ever.
Yeah.
So I had to listen to a few of the games.
Shame on those Midwest people.
Yeah, I would have thought there was more hockey fans out in the Midwest, considering you got Minnesota and Wisconsin, like those northern states. But whatever.
I bet I'm sure in Minnesota area they're big in Minnesota. But in Detroit, Detroit should be too. But
Detroit.
If you go a little bit southern of those two, I guess there's probably
pretty much South Dakota and north there. Like a lot of hockey players come out of that area too. So whatever.
But anyway, Pens yet again let us down. A lot of people, like I said, want the coach out, want the goalie out. I mean, the amount of ripping on Tristan Jarry, yes, he didn't play great. Yes, he could have made a couple more saves here or there that might have changed some outcomes. He could have not made the mistake in overtime on the one game, but I mean, to blame everything on one person again is just not fair. It's not. You could have a deal breaker, you can have a game breaker in a person, in a player, but to blame everything on one person, it's just not.
I mean, think about it, PK. It's the same way in football. Steelers, everything gets blamed on Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if the receivers are dropping the ball or whatnot. It's always Ben's fault.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the same with the Pirates. Always the pitching staff or the pitcher. It's like it's a team sport, guys. If anybody has ever played any sports, it's the team that makes the effort.
Yeah.
And the best team is the one that everybody pitches in.
Yeah.
Worst ones are where you have like one or two superstars, and then everybody else is kind of like, I don't care.
Does nothing, or just leans on that superstar to do everything. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Tristan Jarry was an all-star last year. Yeah. He had a great regular season this year. This was his first full-time playoff, scenario where he was the number one goalie in the playoffs. Do I think that he played out of his mind great? No, of course not. But again, to blame everything on one person is just, it doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Give him a chance. He's shown that he's a good goaltender. He's shown that he has what it takes. Maybe next time around, he'll do better. That's got to be the goal for him as a player, to improve himself and do better next time. I also think that having our backup Casey DeSmith injured didn't help, because not only could we not turn to him when Jarry was kind of struggling, but not having that presence of mind that there's a person that might take my spot in net. It didn't really push Jarry to play better, to make sure that he's keeping his starting role. So I think that kind of hurt too. But all in all, if you look at some of the numbers, there were some of our top name guys who didn't put up that many points. There's some of our defenders that didn't dive blocking shots or do this or do that. It's just to blame it all on one scenario or one person, and it's just not ideal. It's just there's multiple things that played into it.
Yeah. So, question for you, BK.
All right.
Do you take Marc-Andre Fleury in his final season with the Pens, or Tristan Jarry in a playoff situation for next year? Hypothetically, you have both of them as goalies on your roster. Which one are you going with as starting goalie?
So say we somehow get Marc-Andre Fleury back.
Marc-Andre Fleury in his final year with the Pens, or his
you're saying year. Like his in his past, Marc-Andre Fleury
in his past.
In his last. Okay. Do I take him or current Jarry? Fleury. Because I'm a huge Fleury fan. I still think Fleury is and was a better goaltender than Tristan Jarry is right now. Yeah. Do I think that down the road Tristan Jarry can't get better and be same level as Fleury? He might. You never know. There was probably times in Fleury's career that people didn't trust him to do, what he did. There's times that people didn't trust Matt Murray to do what he did. He took us to a Stanley Cup. And then you saw that ended, how everybody hated him after. People are so critical, man. They're so critical. If they don't play out of their mind, they suck.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
It's funny. Earlier we mentioned Steelers or like Pittsburgh sports fans in general and how crazy they are. Mm-hmm. So being military and having been in different parts of the country, like there are Steelers bars and like places across the US.
Yeah.
And the fans that are like out there, like on the outskirts, not in like Pittsburgh and Western PA Central, they're like sometimes even more critical than the ones that are in Pittsburgh, because they're like seeing it from afar and they're like hating it because,
they're just homesick.
Dallas, Texas.
Maybe they're just homesick. Maybe they're from Pittsburgh, moved away, and they're watching their Steelers play or whatever. And they're like, I'm not there to cheer them on personally. Yeah.
Yep.
That's funny. they're more hardcore when you're out of the state.
Yeah.
Wow.
I will say this though, I was really excited that they were allowing fans back into the stadiums and stuff. That was really exciting. Kind of says, hey, normalcy. And one of my first real good memories with my wife is, actually, my wife was pregnant with our daughter, and I took her to her first Pens game.
Nice.
With my family. That was like our Christmas gift.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to taking my daughter to a few Pens games in the future.
Heck
whenever
yeah.
she's finally old enough.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did she like the Pens game?
Yeah, she actually did.
Yeah. I would hope so.
She's a huge Orioles fans. We've been to some baseball team games.
Oh.
Okay, Orioles are like my second or third favorite team.
Oh, don't tell me that. Come on.
I was gonna say from being a kid, Pitt, Pens, Pirates, Steelers. That's it. But
yeah,
you have to have those backups in case, especially as a Pirates fan. You have to have backups.
You definitely. I'll definitely allow you to have some backups as a Pirates.
So, yeah, it was definitely fun, and
nice.
She actually enjoyed it. And she was like, "Yeah, I can be a Pens fan." I was like, "Thank you."
I can be a Pens fan. So, since we've been talking about the Pens and being Chris being Chris, it reminded me one of our first memories, or one of our first connections. Since we're both Pens fans, Chris actually got me a Pens jersey with my name on the back of it, and to this day, it's still my favorite Pens jersey. One of the best gifts I ever got. I couldn't be more thankful for him for getting me that. It's so cool. I always bring it out on Pens games and stuff, except when it's too hot, and I'm like, I don't want to wear this jersey. But yeah, right. But one of the greatest gifts, and one of the first real big memories or connections that we had, and I'll always remember it, and it always keeps our connection strong, and I always think about him when I see that in my closet and everything. So thank you, Chris, for that.
Yeah, next time I'm in the area, I will. And if the Pens are playing, we definitely need to try and go to a Pens game.
Yes, we do. So, all right, now since obviously the Pens lost, but let's take a quick update here on the other series, in the NHL playoffs. So the Pens lost in 6 games, 4-2 versus the Islanders. The Boston Bruins beat the Washington Capitals 4-1 in their series, which I believe in my prediction I did not have whatsoever. I believe I had Washington winning that. Got shown up on that one. So 4-1 Boston moved on. They're going to play the New York Islanders, so Boston and New York. In the Carolina-Nashville series, Carolina won that series 4-2. Which I actually didn't think was even going to be that close. So Nashville definitely played pretty well, gave them a run for their money, but Carolina does move on. And Carolina plays the winner of Florida and Tampa Bay, which was Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay won that series 4-2. So Carolina and Tampa Bay in that division. To the other side, Colorado and St. Louis. Colorado, as kind of expected, swept St. Louis. I did predict that one. I did predict a sweep in that one. I didn't think St. Louis stood a chance against Colorado, and they sure did. So Colorado 4-0 over St. Louis. They play the Vegas Golden Knights, who beat the Minnesota Wild in 7 games. That game was actually just last night. And I got to give it to Minnesota. Minnesota really gave Vegas a run for their money. I did not expect that whatsoever. Minnesota was a huge surprise this year. I don't think a lot of people anticipated them being a playoff team whatsoever. A lot of people thought they were a rebuild stage. They come out of nowhere, do great in the regular season, and then force Vegas to game 7. And it was a very good series. Real fun game last night. I watched some of it. But we still get to see Marc-Andre Fleury in the playoffs, baby. So Vegas and Colorado play next. And then in the other series, it is Toronto and Montreal. In the last series to still be going. Toronto leads that series 3-2, which I think I did predict game 7 in this series. Actually, I figured it'd go pretty long. but we'll see if Toronto comes out in game 6 or if it does indeed go to game 7. And in the last series, Winnipeg and Edmonton, I definitely did not get this one right at all. I had Edmonton winning in that series. I believe I said like 5 or 6 games. Yeah, they got swept by Winnipeg. They got swept by Winnipeg 4-0. Once again, the Connor McDavid, the superstar regular season points leader, got 100 some points in like 60 games. Jeez. Totally blowing everybody else out of the water in the points race, and then doesn't show up in the playoffs. Him, his teammate, and well, obviously the whole team just again didn't get it done. So Winnipeg, props to them. I didn't think that they were gonna be that good of a team, but moved on quite easily against Winnipeg or against Edmonton 4-0. So we're there waiting the winner of the Toronto-Montreal series. Then we're down to 8 after that. We're down to 8 teams after that. So we're on our way. We're on our way to Stanley Cup greatness. Even though the Pens are out, I'm still going to watch games. It's so much fun.
Yeah, playoff hockey is great.
It's the best. It
doesn't matter who's playing.
Yeah. Agreed. But definitely cheering on Marc-Andre Fleury still, as always.
Yeah, same.
I do want to see Colorado succeed too. So that's a tough matchup there. I want to see Boston beat the Islanders because boo New York for beating us. I want to see Carolina beat Tampa Bay. And I don't know who I really want from the other. Toronto maybe, but
I'm gonna have to go opposite of you, PK. I'm gonna say I want the Islanders to beat Boston because I hate Boston as a Pens fan, as I should.
I don't necessarily like Boston, but yeah.
Yeah. I definitely want to see Tampa Bay go again.
Over Carolina? You're in Carolina now.
I'm in South Carolina.
Okay.
North Carolina. Actually, North Carolina or the Carolina Hurricanes are the closest hockey team to me right now. I've already looked up there, like a 6-hour drive away from me.
Oh wow,
something like that.
That's actually more than I thought it would be. But
yeah, they're in like the kind of that way part of the state. But anyways, I definitely want to see the Vegas Knights go and win. Partially because of Marc-Andre Fleury. Partially because Marc-Andre Fleury. Yeah. Partially because they're like my backup team / Western side of the U.S. team.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Toronto, Montreal, or Winnipeg.
Oof. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Maple Leafs just because we're one of the original hockey teams.
Okay. So does Montreal.
Yeah.
Toronto, I think a lot of people are kind of rooting for Toronto because they've got some older gentlemen that haven't really won or anything like that before. Joe Thornton. I don't think Jason Spezza has won before, but
either way, it's playoff hockey. It's going to be good.
It's going to be good games no matter what. Yep.
It's not the Pens, so I'm mildly interested, not like diehard interested.
Right. You're not completely rooting for one team over the other. You're just kind of this team would be fun to see win. Yeah. Gotcha. So that's the update on where we stand in the NHL playoffs. Either way, gonna be a lot of fun watching those games. So, all right. So a little bit more on how Chris and I know each other. So Chris and I met in college. We were in the same fraternity. Even though Chris is older than me, I was his big brother in our fraternity. So that's how we got to know each other. So being like that connection, big brother, little brother, basically what that means is like I was in charge of watching over him, helping support him, make sure that he was doing what he needed to do. Yeah, doing all the right stuff, being a good person and whatnot. But I didn't really have to do much of that. We already knew that he was good. But it's just another way to build a strong connection with somebody else. It definitely did. Chris and I are great friends since that. And Chris got married a couple of years after graduating. I was in his wedding.
Yep.
And just a lot of good memories. Unfortunately, obviously he moved away and haven't really seen him personally in a while, but
tried to. but COVID kind of prevented that.
That didn't help either. Yeah, that didn't help either. But yeah, I mean, Chris and I, like I said, built a strong connection in college. Two pretty similar guys, him and I. Two the same morals, the same interests, obviously with hockey and everything too. Yeah. And yeah, so it was a lot of fun, a lot of good memories in college with Chris.
Yeah.
But anything in particular you could think of?
Well, let's see. Honestly, the big brother, little brother thing in college, like I never really felt like your little brother. I felt like I was your equal. Like even starting the pledging process. I mean, part of it was I was older and just more experienced in the world and whatnot.
It's like, why is this guy trying to tell me what to do? I'm smarter and more mature than he is.
No, I mean, more mature in some aspects.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was the night my little brother got into the fraternity, and you ended up having to take over because I was working that weekend. But good memories. BK in college. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they're all fraternity based. I mean, because that's where we spent a lot of our time together.
Yeah.
Definitely giving you the hockey jersey. That was awesome. Well as a paddle. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else. I mean, I'll never forget coming back from deployment and you went over to the one sorority house and we're wobbling. And I'm like, I don't even know what this is. And we wobbled. And then we wobbled at my wedding.
Yep.
It's pretty funny video.
I'm the king of the wobble. We'll just leave that out there.
Absolutely. Definitely never going to be as good of an answer as BK, nor is a snappy dresser. Oh,
geez.
So, ladies, as far as I know, he's still single. So, go get him.
Yeah.
No, I mean, a lot of good memories in college with you. I mean, watching Penn's hockey, hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Sitting on that couch.
Yeah.
Watching Penn's games. Yep.
Convinced me to stay in the fraternity. That was a pretty good one. There's a story behind that. Which maybe I'll go into later, but not right now. Let's see what else. I mean, I can't remember if you showed up to my graduation or not.
I don't think.
I don't think you did.
I don't think.
But I mean,
wow, way to throw me under the bus.
It wasn't negative. It was one of those like that was what 7 years ago now. It's kind of right. It's like I don't remember most of that.
Nah. One of the biggest things I remember between Chris and I is like we mentioned, Chris was older and more mature, and I think one of my jobs was kind of to allow him or influence him to open up a little bit more, not be so uptight and a little too mature. So I got him having a little bit more fun and enjoying himself.
You definitely did that
while he was in college and everything. But yeah. And then he after college he straightened back up again, which
somewhat.
Yeah,
still my moments.
He's still a little goofy. Still a little goofy. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right. So that's kind of Chris and I's backstory. Obviously, like we said, no certain specific memories, but just a lot of good times, a lot of good memories, a lot of good bonds, a lot of fun. Just
a lot of recent memories too. Playing Warzone together online.
Yeah.
So that's been some really fun.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad we got to reconnect. At least doing that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And speaking of military-based things, like Call of Duty, Chris, like we said, Chris is in the military. I personally don't know a whole lot about the military and how it fully works. I'm going to be honest. So Chris, or whatever details you're able to share, what you want to share, like what your rank is and what you kind of do and how long you've been in the military, stuff like that. You want to kind of fill us in?
Let's see. So I joined the Army, or I joined the Pennsylvania National Guard in July 25th of 2008. I've had to fill out a lot of paperwork recently with that date on it, so that's why I know the exact date.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been in now for 12, going on 13 years. I started out as a helicopter mechanic / I flew in helicopters, and that was definitely a awesome job.
Cool. That's so cool.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time in what they call medevac. So that's medical. It's a medical vehicle that's specifically designed for taking people who are wounded from point of injury to a hospital. And during that time, I did that for about 6 years. Deployed in 2011 to Kosovo, which is a Eastern European country. And then in that time, I was also doing college, UPJ. Started that in 2006. And the only reason I mentioned this is because I ended up going some of the same classes as the founders of our fraternity's chapter.
Yeah.
And like some of the more older members, that was like really wild to later join. And they're like, yeah, we went to class together. And I was like, yeah, I know. Like, I knew founders.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then I went to, I'm sorry. So after my deployment, I came back and I joined the fraternity that BK and I were in. That's where I met BK.
Right.
And so as promised, here's part of that story. During that time, I had also decided to go to a deployment to Afghanistan with a different unit out of the state. And they were supposed to leave in September of 2012. So I'm doing a semester of college, joining a fraternity, and trying to get ready to deploy. And yeah, so even thinking about it kind of like brings up some emotions. I decided that it was becoming too much. Like I need to spend time with my family more than fraternity.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey, look, guys, I can't do this right now. I'll definitely do it whenever I get back from deployment, if I make it back from deployment. And I need to spend time with my family because I'm about ready to go leave again for a year. And they were really awesome about it. And
we made sure we pulled some strings and fixed, twisted some things around and make sure that we got this guy in because he was well deserving of it. Needed to figure out a way to make it work for him because of not only what he was doing for the country, but what he did for us. Even to that point, we made sure that it was going to work for him and us, and make sure that he was a part of the group. So
yeah, so the fraternity we were part of, Sig Tau Gamma, was actually founded by World War I veterans, which is part of the reason why they did that, which is pretty awesome. Yep. So went to Afghanistan, came back, met up with BK where he showed me the wobble. Being outside of the country for a year really messes with like your ability to understand social.
All these new things, like what is this?
Yeah. That was also the night I almost quit college. You probably didn't know that, BK, but like I nearly quit college that day because I was so overwhelmed and tired and burnt out from my deployments.
I feel like I did kind of know that. I don't know that you ever really told me, but as I'm thinking about it, I kind of felt like I could tell you were just completely just overwhelmed and not feeling it per se. Yeah.
But I didn't. I ended up graduating in 2014.
Stuck with it.
Yep, stuck with it.
That's my boy.
Thanks, BK.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
Yep, don't quit. So from there, got a job working oil fields and was still doing the National Guard thing. Happened to get talked to by the state commanding general, who I told him I wanted to go be an infantry officer and jump out of airplanes. And he was like, awesome, cool. And I had a phone call later that day from the officer recruiter. Decided to go that route, did officer candidate school in Alabama, followed by infantry basic officer leader course, which is like officer training at Fort Benning. Became an infantry officer, and then was like, all right, I'm gonna start my master's. And then my unit was like, no, you're gonna deploy. I was like, okay, I guess I'm deploying now.
Yeah, right.
So deployed, spent a year in like Kuwait, Jordan area of the Middle East. Saw some cool sites there.
That was in 2016.
16.
16?
16.
Oh, okay.
16 to 17.
Okay.
During that time, I met my wife online on Match.com. I'm throwing all these plugs in there, but they kind of tell a story. Got married.
There are sponsors, right?
Yeah. Met my wife there and got married. BK was in my wedding. We wobbled together. It's pretty funny.
For those that don't know by now, the wobble is a song, and there's a specific dance to it, and it not only that, but it's like a 6-7 minute song, and it's a very grueling dance.
Yeah,
it is tough.
It is a good cardio session.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Yeah, but I also remember you mentioned your wife, and I remember a little while after you met her, you started telling me about her, and you're like, I gotta get you guys to meet, and I gotta show you this girl, and I think she's pretty special and all that. And I remember you guys drove up to where I live, and we just hung out. I think it was right around the 4th of July or something.
Yeah, it was, because I think we watched fireworks out of your back patio.
Yeah, actually, maybe it was on 4th of July.
Yeah.
But or right around there, like I said. Yeah, we just sat outside and we talked and got to know each other, and nice lady. Nice lady.
And then so later on in 2019, I finally fulfilled my childhood dream of jumping on airplanes. Became a paratrooper.
Not for me.
Loved every second of it.
Not for me.
Only once was I actually scared for my life, or like super scared. And that happened to also be my final jump. I had a parachute malfunction and had to pull my reserve parachute.
I didn't know this story. Why are you telling me this? Don't tell me this.
That's in the past. It's
over. All right.
Either way, made it safely to the ground. And then, moved to Kansas for about 7 months. Did some HR type work. And now I'm at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, where next month, on the 24th of June, I will take command of a basic training company. What that means is I'll be in charge of 250 trainees or future soldiers. They're soldiers, but they're not like fully soldiers yet, because they haven't finished their initial training.
Okay.
At the end of basic training, you are fully considered a soldier. But basically, I'll take people who want to join the military and train them into soldiers. I'll do that about 250 soldiers roughly every 10 weeks. So do that for about 2 years or so.
Wow.
Yep. And then after that, I have no idea what I'm going to do after.
Hey, one step at a time.
Yep.
One step at a time. Okay. All right. So in a way, you're kind of like being a coach.
Yeah.
You got that connection again.
Yeah, and I've got like sub coaches. So I mean, I've got people who work for me. So I guess assistant coaches.
Yep, exactly. There you go. Wow, so, that's crazy. Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
so get your yelling voice ready.
Oh yeah, already got it. I was a non-commissioned officer.
Already there, BK. So, what are you talking about?
I was gonna say, I was a direct supervisor for a lot of young soldiers, and so I had to learn how to be very loud and vocal sometimes.
It's not yelling; it's projecting. That's what I like to say.
Honestly what it is.
It is.
It's projecting.
Yeah, that's kind of
my wife. Whenever my wife and I get into arguments, I start projecting, and she's just like, "You're yelling at me." I'm like, "I'm not yelling. I'm being loud."
Talking loudly.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned military though, because like my entire life has been military, honestly, in some way, shape, or form. I mean, I was delivered by a MASH doctor from like the Korean War, at Penn State College, Pennsylvania, which is where I was born. I'm not a Penn State fan. Sorry, good. Penn State fans that are listening.
Good. No, it's okay.
Yeah, all hail Pitt.
Right.
But then my dad was Pennsylvania National Guard like full time for my entire life. So I mean, it's military is in my blood.
It's definitely in your blood. Yep. It's definitely not in my blood.
And that's okay. It's not for everybody.
That's right. So playing off of that, I found a quiz online just to see how little that I would fit in the military. So this quiz is called "How Fit Are You for the Military?" And I want to see my answers on how I just would not fit in. I don't think.
I think maybe you'd be surprised.
Maybe I'll surprise myself, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. So first question: how well would you do in basic training? I'm not sure I can handle it. I would ace it. It would be tough, but I could do it. I guess I'll find out. Well, one, I don't know what it entails, and I've heard stories. Obviously, I don't think they would. Yeah.
So if you're thinking Full Metal Jacket, it's not that way anymore. It's even changed since I went through back in 2008. Yeah, pretty much almost anybody can pass basic training. I mean, that's the way it's designed, is so that most people can pass.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to get yelled at a little bit. Yeah, you're going to run. You're going to do push-ups. You're going to do sit-ups. You're going to do different physical exercises. Like now they've got deadlifts and all this other stuff in there. I mean, BK, you're pretty fit.
Not anymore.
I was going to say. Yeah, but I mean, you're coaching.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and just from looking at you on the screen, you're still relatively fit.
Thanks,
it would take like probably about 4 weeks for you to go from like, oh man, this stinks, to this is fine, I don't hurt anymore. And then 4 more weeks later, you'd be like, this is awesome, I'm in such great shape.
Yeah.
That's honestly the way it is.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm thinking I would say I would be tough, but I could do it. Is kind of what I think my answer would be. Yeah. I don't think I would ace it necessarily. I don't think I could not handle it, because I do have good mental fortitude. When I put my mind to something, I usually stick with it. So I think I would be able to make it. I would have to definitely prepare before trying to go into it, because I'm not in as good a shape as you think I am. But
I would honestly, you mentioned mental fortitude. That's a big part of it, like not quitting. We have a saying, and it's called play the game. Like, we all know that, you know, you have to hit certain things. You have to do certain things in order to graduate.
Yeah.
Just like college. You know, you have to hit certain classes. Some of them are general, some of them are core classes.
Right.
And as long as you make it through that stuff, you're going to be fine. You're going to pass.
Okay. All right. So I think I would make it. Be tough, but I'd make it.
I think you'd make it.
All right. Have you taken any practice ASVAB tests?
So before you go any further, ASVAB is ASVAB. That's the Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery Test. Everybody has to take it before they join the military. It's basically
fancy words.
Yeah, it's reading, math, mechanical skills, medical biology stuff. It's basically to kind of see like where you would fit in the military and what your best job would probably be.
Okay. I don't have many mechanical skills.
Don't worry, you can fail that part and still get in.
Don't worry, you can fail that part.
I mean, not everybody's going to be a mechanic. I mean, some people are going to be infantrymen and they just move and shoot and camp.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, so the answers that they give you is, the first one is, what's an ASVAB, which really should be my answer, because I didn't know what it was till you said.
Yeah.
I've taken many practice tests. I've taken the real test. I should really try that. Got to be honest, say it's what's that, because I didn't know. So
yeah, you passed high school and you have a degree, so you'd be fine though.
Which MRE type would you like for dinner? Chicken chunks, beef taco, barbecue brisket, elbows, and tomato sauce. I'm assuming that's like macaroni.
Yeah, think of it more like it's elbows and tomato sauce, so it's basically like a pasta with marinara.
Yeah. Okay, like almost like spaghetti.
Yeah, kind of.
Almost.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be the beef taco. I don't think it would be the elbows and tomato sauce. It'd be either the chicken chunks or brisket. Brisket sounds better, but me being me with my stomach, I'd probably go with the simpler one, the chicken chunks. Just to
good choice.
Yeah, is that the best?
Yeah, one? The brisket is basically the McRib.
Okay,
but it's designed to like last for 5 to 10 years, so yeah, it's not great. I mean, all MREs are designed to have like a shelf life of 7 years or something like
Yeah.
that. They're not, and they're like 2,000 or 3,000 calories a piece if you need everything in there. So they're not really designed to be good for you. They're designed to keep you going.
Yeah, exactly.
My choice. So it was white chicken chunks, brisket, beef taco, and elbows macaroni.
Correct.
Man, I'm really kind of disappointed they don't have chili mac in there.
That's probably closest to the elbow sauce there.
I don't know. White chicken chunks has some really good sides. Beef taco is pretty good though, and it does come with jalapeno cheese spreads. So I'm probably gonna have to go with beef taco because I've actually had that one. It's not bad.
Yeah, beef taco sounds decent.
That's
I'm just not.
Pretty much think of it like Taco Bell in a bag. It's kind of similar.
I'm not a Taco Bell guy though. I'm not a Taco Bell guy.
I just had that for lunch the other day.
Oh yeah,
great,
nice. Which of your personality traits would make you a good fit for the Marines? Tenacity, toughness, courage, or confidence? Probably either tenacity or not courage. I'm not actually that courageous. Confidence, maybe. Toughness, it's probably tenacity. Yeah, probably tenacity for me.
Let's see. Well, I've never been a Marine. I've served with Marines. Actually, that was where my Afghanistan deployment was. We worked with Marines pretty much the whole deployment. Yeah. They treat us really well. Like being medevac for them was awesome and probably one of the proudest things I've ever done in my career.
Nice.
But I would say for me, probably either tenacity or courage. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say.
You're jumping out of airplanes. I'm thinking you're pretty courageous.
Oh man, jumping out of airplanes, like
it's probably nothing actually for you. Yeah.
It's scary at times. I mean, there were times where I was like, man, I don't want to do this, but you push through it. You just kind of go, I don't want to. Almost peer pressured sometimes. Like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I knew that's where you go with that. I don't want to be the guy that doesn't do it, so I'm just gonna suck it up and do it.
But just to poke fun at my Marine friends and Marines I've worked with and stuff, I don't eat crayons, so I can't be in the Marines.
Okay.
Just kidding.
We're just gonna let that one go. Yeah.
They don't eat crayons.
Okay. Even if they did,
Yeah.
Power to you, I guess. Do you stop to ask for directions when you are lost? I never get lost. I always stop to ask. I break out a map. Siri helps me with that. No, I don't really ask for directions. I definitely, no, not really. Not really. I don't really ask for directions. I'm not gonna say I don't get lost or anything either, though. I would say I figure it out either with a map or Siri. Probably more Siri though. Probably not necessarily Siri, but like Google Maps or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say that one. I wouldn't say that I never get lost. I wouldn't say that I ask. I'd say that I figure it out with the tools that I have.
Yep.
Whatever they may be.
Let's see. I mean, if I have my phone and it does have self-service, I'm probably going to ask Siri because that's just the easy button right now. But
exactly.
I've definitely not gotten lost. I've definitely done the whole like navigating by stars and by like.
Oh, geez.
Well,
all right.
Compass and map and
okay, all right.
Part of some military training and also just some life skills I picked up along the way.
Yeah.
If
you asked me to navigate with the sun or the stars or something, I just would laugh at you. Like, well, that one's there, and then there's one right next to it.
Yeah.
What do they have in common? They're both in the sky.
I was going to say general directions. It's like the sun always rises in the east and always sets in the west. So I know if I'm heading, as long as I know what time of day it is, I can generally figure out like which direction I'm going, generally speaking.
I'm lucky if I can remember which that is, which way the sun rises and sets. I'm lucky if I remember that.
Yeah. But hey.
It's in the sky. That's all I know.
I spent a lot of time in the woods as a kid.
Yeah.
Growing up. So, I mean, things you pick up.
All right. Yeah, right. Do you swim like a fish or like a boulder? I only go in up to my knees. I should be on an Olympic team. I can save myself, or I swim like a boulder. I'm not afraid to swim, so I definitely go in past my knees. I wouldn't quite say I should be on an Olympic team. And I wouldn't say I swim like a boulder. I'd say I can save myself. I do recall, though, that I don't really float very well. I guess I don't have enough on me to kind of float on its own. So I usually have to do a lot of work to stay up.
Yeah.
But when I'm actually like swimming, I'm usually fine with it. It's the treading water that I would have trouble with.
Just make sure you breathe in and then hold your breath.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say I've never been a huge fan of swimming. I think it had something to do with, like, in my childhood, I nearly drowned once or twice.
That probably would have something to do with it. Yeah.
Hence the reason I'm not in the Navy.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I've learned to swim really well, or like well enough in the past couple of years. But funny story about floating. And this one's actually pretty funny. I went to some military training where they like made us do this floating stuff where we were in uniform and boots and like flight helmets. It's called Dunker. It's basically in case a helicopter crashed in the water, like you're supposed to be able to get out and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this was day one, and they were like trying to get us to do this swim thing, and I couldn't do it the way they wanted me to do it, because every time I would stop like trying to swim and like kind of glide in the water like they wanted me to,
Yeah,
my feet and lower half is so heavy because I have thick legs that I would literally just go from this
under thighs.
Yeah. And then I would just start sinking, and they were like, "We need to." I'm like, "I can't do this."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, treading water. I've actually practiced treading water a lot recently. That's not really that hard, especially if you relax. I've learned that the hard way.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so I'm like between boulder and I can definitely save myself. I did take scuba diving in college, my freshman year.
Yeah, I think. No, I took CP.
That was definitely a new experience. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I
absolutely.
mean, yeah.
You're not an Olympic swimmer.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not there.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it probably helped that my parents had a pool when we were growing up, so that I was in the water a lot there. But again, that's not like that's only up to here.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty comfortable that I feel like I could save myself.
Yeah.
That's probably the best answer for sure. What kind of driver are you during your commute? Courteous, aggressive, cautious, nervous. Not aggressive, not nervous. It's kind of a mix between cautious and courteous. I'm usually not the most early person, as a lot of my friends know.
Yep.
And family. I'm usually not early whatsoever. So I kind of am. I wouldn't say I'm in a rush, but I'm usually not taking as much time as I should be. But I still, even when I'm not in that mode, I'm always courteous. I let other people, if we stop sign, save time, or let them go or whatever, stuff like that. But it's also kind of cautious because I know how people drive, and I know that people aren't the best drivers and normally are in a rush and this and that. So I normally just kind of I'm always aware. My dad always taught me that from a young age, is always be aware of your surroundings, whether it be driving or just in life in general. Always be aware of your surroundings. Just not necessarily expect the worst, but just be aware of what could happen or what could go wrong or whatever. So that's tough because it's honestly a mix between those ones. If I had to pick one, I'm thinking I'd lean toward cautious. I'm gonna say cautious.
So I used to be a lot more aggressive as a driver, especially whenever I was in college. There were times where I was like driving 90 plus miles an hour down like a back road and wouldn't even realize it.
Yeah.
Part of it too is I grew up on like dirt roads and in the back roads of like where we did some of our fraternity events, BK. So like there's hardly any traffic out there. You can kind of drive like an idiot.
Yeah.
Not saying that's the right thing to do at all.
But no, yeah. But are you one to like cut people off or like yell at people?
Not so much cut people off anymore. I do occasionally question people and their
Yeah.
driving capabilities
Yeah.
whenever I am driving. But I would say I'm definitely more cautious and courteous now. Uh, I did have to get a little bit more aggressive whenever I was deployed to Kuwait. That is literally the worst driving country in the world.
Oh.
Yeah, so like perfect example, you would be traveling at like about 70, 80 miles an hour, and somebody would, without using their turn signal, cut across 5 or 6 lanes of highway traffic, all traveling at the same thing, about a foot or two in between, like New York City style traffic, without stoplights, and they would get off the off ramp. They would use like the sides of the road, where you're supposed to pull your car over in case you have a flat tire. They would use that as an extra lane.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely nerve wracking the first few times. Then I got really used to it, which was not a good thing.
No.
But
yeah,
I'm definitely more cautious. I would say courteous probably more than cautious anymore. I mean, I still, like you said, BK, I'm situationally aware. I, look around and try and anticipate.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still can't predict everything everybody's going to do.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But okay.
So yeah.
Okay. What are your marksmanship skills like? Well, yeah. Non-existent, good, sharp, or novice? My marksmanship skills consist of BB gun shooting and a few times with friends shooting like pistols or whatever. So extremely, extremely either novice or non-existent. Yeah. I wouldn't say, what's that?
So did you shoot at my bachelor party?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So I've used them before. I wouldn't say I was great at them, so that's for sure. But yeah, I'd say novice. I wouldn't say terrible. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say non-existent, but I definitely not good or sharp.
Yeah, you know where the bullet comes out of, which way is the pointy end of the gun, and
which way do I aim? I hold it up. Might not be the best form holding it either, but it's there. Yeah. There's something. Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, my shooting skills have gotten really bad recently. One, with the price of ammo, and two, just I've been really busy at work and life, so I haven't had a chance to go as much as I'd like to.
Yeah.
Being a dad and husband will do that to you. You kind of, all the hobbies you had as a single guy, you kind of have to take a back seat.
Yep.
So I would say I'm probably like
good.
The middle high, whichever one that one was.
Good.
Yeah, I'd say I'm good. I'm not great, or better than I used to be.
Yeah, it's either good or sharp. And you're just
I would say good right now.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'll get better.
Yeah. If you woke up in the desert, what would you do first? Oh God. Fire, shelter, food, or cry? Well, why would you start a fire if you're in the desert? I guess other than to keep creatures.
It's cold at night.
That's true. I guess it does keep cold.
And you can boil water.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. See that. How little I know. Shelter. Shelter would be important.
Yep.
Food obviously important. Cry. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
I think in a strong way I could see you crying, BK.
Thanks.
Like, how did I get here?
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
Not a day. It could happen to anybody.
I know. That's tough. What would I do first? I feel like I would probably think about food first, naturally. But you would need fire mostly to get food or to cook food and water. That's tough. My first thought was food, though. Oh gosh, that's probably the last thing you need. That's definitely the last thing you need.
No, the last thing you need is crying.
Well, yeah, true.
So I follow. So my answer is going to be shelter, and the reason for that is I follow a couple of like survival and just like outdoorsy type pages on Instagram.
Okay.
They actually brought this up a few months ago, and it kind of struck me as, I would have never thought of that. I would have thought water first, right?
Yeah.
Shelter is actually the first thing you should do in a survival situation, because you can survive 3 days without water. You can survive 7 days without food.
Not on
But
heat
without shelter,
exhaustion.
heat exhaustion, and having lived in a desert for 2 years almost,
Yeah.
that sun will kill you.
Yeah.
So hot, so beat down and miserable. Like, heat with humidity is bad in the south, but like that dry heat and the constant sun rays, it'll dry you out and kill you quicker than anything else. So
Yeah.
definitely do shelter first.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Yeah, that'd be tough. I just randomly woke up in the desert. I might be crying. I might be crying, to be honest. What do you like to do around the campfire? I like to make s'mores. I use the time to dry out. I like to sing songs. I like to cook up the day's catch. Either s'mores or songs. I'd say songs first for me though. I love singing campfire songs, just songs in general. Yeah, definitely like to sing songs around campfire is for me.
I am not a s'mores guy.
No?
Never really have been. Don't really like marshmallow.
Oh, okay.
I do like the chocolate and the graham crackers though, so I guess that works out, right?
Sure, yeah, it's definitely a s'more. Yeah, absolutely.
I would say, well, first of all, I wanted to know, why are you drying out? Like, did you get wet, or
Yeah,
you just
I don't
like,
know why that's in there.
Maybe you got caught in rain as you were walking up? I've had that happen to me before on a camping trip. That was not fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you singing, or are you cooking up the day's catch?
I'm probably cooking up the day's catch because I'm probably hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, I started a fire to eat.
Yeah.
So
exactly. How long have you been out of high school? It's been 20 years. I'm still in high school. It was within 10 years. I just graduated. Oh God, we've both been over 10 years.
Yeah. You care to say how long you've been out, PK?
12. You were 13
15.
then, right? Oh, fifth. What?
I graduated in 2006.
I thought you were only a year earlier.
No, man. I graduated in 2006. I graduated like May of 2006. I started college August of 2006. Yeah. It only took me 8 years to get through college.
That's it. I thought I was old. Holy
Disclaimer, shit. I did military stuff in between. I took breaks. That's
why. Yeah. He's not stupid. That's not it.
No. I did change my major though from pre-med to history. So
jeez. So I guess I'm saying it's been 20 years because it's not within 10 years. It's not just graduated and it's not still in high school. So
I was gonna say we'll create other.
Between 10 and 20.
Yeah.
You better with taking orders or giving orders? I do not take orders. I prefer to give orders. I can go either way. I'm used to taking orders. I'd say I can go either way.
Yeah.
I'm open to whatever. If I'm in a leadership role, I can give orders, obviously with coaching and stuff. But I'm also not one of those people that can't take an order, which a lot of people are like these days, honestly. Somebody tells them what to do, and it's just no way. I'm doing it my way or the highway. So yeah, definitely an easy one there for me. I can go either way, whatever is needed. If I need to give, if I need to receive, either one.
Yeah, for me, either way. Like you said, when you're in a leadership position, you lead. Whenever you're not, you follow, and that's what that tends to make the best leaders.
Yeah.
Tends to make the best soldiers or military people too, is people who can take and give orders.
Yeah, absolutely. How many push-ups can you drop and do? I have no desire to do push-ups. I'm sure I can do a few. I can do at least 50. I can do at least 20. I try to do daily push-ups. I haven't done them as much over the last year, but I kind of started doing them again recently. I definitely do at least 20. I can't do 50. I don't think so. I'd say I could do at least 20. I usually probably around 30 right now.
Is that without stopping, or is that like taking breaks?
I'm assuming that's just in a row. Yeah, without stopping.
Okay.
Come on, you know you could do 50.
I could probably do 50. I was doing push-ups a lot recently, and I had to take a break because I was lifting weights and doing other stuff. But I could probably drop and do 50 if I really had to. I mean, I might take quote unquote breaks the military way, which is like where you arch your back or sag in the middle.
Yeah.
I would still knock out 50.
Yeah. I think so. I think you could. Would you rather drive a tank or navigate a battleship? Either one sounds fun. Sign me up for the tank. I prefer to drive a Hummer, or I can see myself as an admiral. That's funny. So the why that's funny is because my live streaming name on Twitch is Admiral BK. So that's pretty funny that that's on there, that I can see myself as an admiral.
Go watch.
Yeah, right. Yeah, go check me out, Admiral BK on Twitch. Nice little plug there. But I think either one sounds fun. I've been on a battleship before when I was where was I? Oh, in Hawaii when I was visiting my cousin and their family. We went on one of the the old battleships that obviously isn't out and about anymore or anything, but that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I've never been in a tank or really around a tank, I don't think. But I would. I think it'd be pretty cool. So I'm gonna say either one. I'm gonna say either one sounds fun.
Let's see. I'm also gonna go with the tank.
Also, I didn't go with the tank. I wouldn't with either.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go straight tank.
Yeah.
Nothing against the Navy. My grandfather was World War II Navy vet. More power to him.
Yeah.
I've been on, like BK said, I've been on like World War II battleships and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. I mean, they're huge and they're impressive and it's amazing.
Absolutely.
And the more I've learned about them, like doing different stuff, just studying history, it blows my mind of like what they were actually capable of doing and the lives those people led. But yeah, no, sorry. Ocean, deep water, like not a huge fan.
You're not a water guy.
Like, yeah, not a huge water guy.
Yeah.
I will face my fear and deal with it if I have to, but no thanks. Give me a tank.
Sign you up for the tank. Yep.
I've been in a U.S. Army tank simulator, and that was kind of fun. I've been in actual U.S. military or U.S. Army tanks and stuff, and it's kind of cramped. So
yeah, I'm sure.
It was, yeah. Still give me the tank. I'd rather take that on dry land.
Yep. If I had to sleep in a bunker, what item would you want to have on hand? Earplugs, a rifle, snacks. I do not like sleeping outdoors. Snacks, I guess. I guess for me, yeah. Give me some snacks if I'm out in a bunker.
This one's kind of hard for me because those are all good options.
Yeah.
I'm only going to say rifle because I want to be able to defend myself. But so in Afghanistan in 12-13, I was on one of the major bases called Kandahar Air Force Base, and they had bunkers. And we would like get warnings that enemy was or terrorists were lobbing mortars or rockets into the base, and we would actually have to go to bunkers.
Wow.
It became so annoying to go to the bunkers that a lot of us would just skip going to bunkers, especially in the middle of the night. We'd hear it go off at like 2-3 in the morning. We would be like, it's my time to go. It's my time to go. So we would just sleep in our shipping container, choose. But yeah, having snacks is good. Having a rifle is good. Earplugs is great. And then what was the other option?
Just do not like sleeping outdoors.
Oh,
which you don't care. I don't think
I was gonna say at this point I don't care. I can fall asleep on like knotty tree branch roots. So I don't care.
Yeah. All right. Which military movie would you watch again? G.I. Jane, Saving Private Ryan, Apocalypse Now, or A Few Good Men? I've only seen two of those, I think. I've only seen Saving Private Ryan and A Few Good Men. I don't think I've seen G.I. Jane or Apocalypse Now. I mean, the one that sticks in mind, I guess, is Saving Private Ryan. So I guess I'll just go with that.
Okay, so I've seen 3 of those. I haven't seen GI Jane. Um, I've heard mixed reviews on it. Probably won't ever watch it unless I'm on deployment again and I just need something to watch.
Yeah.
A Few Good Men only has a few good one-liners. I mean, Jack Nicholson does a great job training the Marine Colonel. And besides, you can't handle the truth. That is a great line.
You can't handle the truth.
Apocalypse Now, I saw it once. BK, unless you're like ready to sit through a 3 or 4 hour movie, don't.
Nah.
Good movie, honestly, great, but it's just one of those. It just drags on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Saving Private Ryan myself. I mean, that movie and that first like 20 minutes is just gut wrenching.
Yeah.
I actually watched a clip of the first scene whenever they're actually visiting the what do you call it? The cemetery at Omaha Beach. Like, I watched that recently and I was like, it hit me right in the core. So yeah.
Yep.
I mean, interesting tidbit fact. That beach landing scene, whenever they came out with that, World War II veterans were actually in the audience whenever they showed that, and like, there was like literally stories of them having to escort them out because it was that realistic to them.
Yeah.
And they got it right. I mean, really, really well. Like, whenever you sink underneath the water, you don't hear anything, and then you come up and it's loud, chaotic, and then you sink down again and you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, they did a really good job.
Yeah.
Props to Spielberg and Hanks.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be tough watching that.
Yeah.
Do you always make your bed? I never make my bed. I make it when I'm cleaning. I make it every morning. Someone else makes my bed. Every morning, baby. Clean and tidy. Clean and tidy, BK.
So
be truthful. Come on.
Truthful. Someone else makes my bed. The wife normally makes the bed. Part of it is I leave so early in the morning, and she's still in it. Part of it is I hate making my bed. Yes, in the military, I made my bed. I definitely made my bunk. And whenever I do make the bed at the house, it is like the same way the military taught me, with the hospital corners and everything else.
Oh, geez.
But yeah, I don't mind making the bed, and I know it's a good daily habit to get into and to have. That's just not one of the things I like to do. And normally, if I'm given the option, I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave the covers down away. As soon as I'm done for the day, I get ready for bed and I'm popping in bed and I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
Wake up the next morning, throw it off, go about my day. So yeah, I don't make the bed normally when my wife isn't home.
That's fine. Hey, that's fine. Which branch of the military do you admire the most? Oh boy. Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force.
Space Force. You have to add Space Force.
Space Force. Gotta add Space Force in there now. Yep.
Coast Guard.
Yeah, I'm kind of close to the Navy, but I know they're different, obviously. So I know people in the Army. I know people that were in the Marines. Don't really know anybody in the Navy. Air Force. I don't think I know anybody in the Air Force. I'd have to say who I admire the most is probably, don't hate me, the Marines.
I hate taken.
Okay. Hearing some of the stories and knowing one of the guys I work with, he was a Marine, and the way he goes about himself, he's just very, I honestly don't even know how to describe it. I kind of want to get him on here at some point, hear some of his stories and just talk with him. The way he answers the phone stuff too, it's just so like structured and everything.
Hello, welcome to da 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 da. Thank you for calling. I'm so and so.
Yeah.
Help you, sir, ma'am.
Yeah, but he does it. He does a lot of funny stuff too. Like, he'll say like somebody's just rambling off and it's got nothing to do, or he needs to just wake them up to reality. He's just like, let me just stop you there. I don't want you to waste your breath anymore. It's stuff like that. It's funny, but some of the stories he's told me about what he's done as a Marine and stuff, it's pretty cool and pretty humbling. Obviously I know a handful of Army people too, and they do amazing stuff as well. But Marines, I just think they kind of do more. Like they have a wider variety of things that they do than the other branches. Like the other branches are one thing. No? Okay, never mind.
It's okay. I mean, you're
I don't
entitled to
know
your
what to-
opinion, BK.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're not military, so you wouldn't know.
I don't know. You're right.
I mean, Marines just got rid of a lot of their jobs recently, restructuring stuff, and they're actually a department of the Navy, which they tend to forget.
Yeah.
So anyways,
I don't know, but
yep, it's okay. I'm not going to fault you.
Okay.
So I don't know anybody in Space Force yet, but it's so new that and there's so few of them. I'm not surprised. I've known, actually, I have a buddy who I went through BOLIC with back in 2015. He's switching over to the Coast Guard, or at least trying to. I think he did. I respect the Coast Guard. I mean, they kind of get laughed at a lot by the rest of the military, and I mean, within reason. I mean, I understand why. It's just one of those. What they do is pretty amazing, guarding the coasts and some of the other stuff they do. I've known sailors, and like I said, my grandfather was a World War II Navy vet. He was part of the USS Never Sail, as he liked to call it. He got in in 1945, and then the war ended a few months later, but he finished up his school and everything, and they discharged him because the war ended.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have great respect for those people. I mean, some of their jobs they're doing is just insane. Marines, I've known a lot of Marines. Ironically enough, I've known a lot of Marines too who have become Army National Guardsmen. I've had great respect and great admiration for those guys. Army, I'm obviously in the Army, so I'm probably just going to go with the Army, just because
it's probably a smart choice. Probably a smart choice.
And I've also known, I know a retired Air Force general, really awesome dude, really smart, and I know they are they take care of their people really well. So I mean, props to everybody. But if I'm going to have to go with a branch, I'm going to have to go with the Army, just because that is my branch.
Yeah.
We have more boats than the Navy.
Smart choice. Really?
Yep. Little known fact.
Well, yeah. I'm sure a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Interesting. They just have the bigger, more advanced ships.
Yeah. Think of it like the Navy's actually going to fight sea battles. The Army just uses them all for transportation.
Yeah. Next question. Would you enjoy being a police officer? No, I wouldn't mind trying it. I would make a better detective. I think it would be cool. Probably not. Probably not, to be honest. I'm trying to think if I could say I would mind trying it, or if it's a straight no. I don't think I would really be a good detective, honestly. I think I'm honestly going to say no here. Just being truthful. I don't think I would.
They better be truthful.
Yeah.
So for me, I actually did try it at one point. I've also gotten told I look like a cop, which, I get it. I do kind of look like a cop.
Yeah.
So I tried to join the Pennsylvania State Troopers before my first deployment as an officer, so 16, 17. The only problem is whenever I went to take the test, I had just had PRK the week prior, so my eyes were really goofy.
Oh.
Trying to adjust, so whenever I took the test, I didn't do real well.
Yeah.
And then I had what's called sudden sensorineural hearing loss in my right ear, which basically means I can't hear anything out of my right ear. So I'm physically unable to become a cop anymore. But I know a lot of state troopers in PA, and they're really awesome people. So that's kind of something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Can't do it anymore.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's life.
Yeah.
Still get to shoot guns and jump out of planes.
Hey, that's looking at the bright side.
Yep.
Looking at the bright side. What did you most want to be when you were a kid? Soldier, pilot, astronaut, captain. None. Soldier, pilot, astronaut, captain. Captain. I'm gonna say captain. I think it would be cool to be an astronaut, but I'd be scared out of my mind thinking just being out there in space.
Yeah.
Pilot, same thing. I don't like flying that much. Soldier, maybe, but I'm a chicken and afraid to get shot at. So, captain, safest choice? Probably not, but
No.
in my mind.
Out of the three of those, either astronaut or pilot is probably your safest choice.
Yeah, probably.
So
Probably astronaut.
Yeah. I always wanted to be a soldier since I was 5. I actually wanted to be a captain. Captain's a rank, so I mean, I don't really know what that choice is even in there for. Yeah. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, I kind of wanted to be an astronaut. Then I realized like I just didn't want to because most of them are like Marines or Air Force, and I was like, no, I want to join the Army.
Gotcha.
Pilot. I actually got offered the opportunity to be a pilot like 4 or 5 times, and I said no. Didn't want to be a helicopter pilot. Nothing against them. A lot of respect for those guys. Worked with them a lot. It's just one of those. That was not what I wanted to do.
Right.
Fighter pilot. I didn't want to be a fighter pilot for a little bit after I saw Top Gun. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
But that was like maybe for like 3 or 4 months whenever I was like 10 to 12 years old. So it wasn't very long.
Right.
But
soldier. Yeah.
Here's another interesting fact.
That's who you were from the beginning, like you said.
Yep. Here's an interesting fact. There's actually a guy out there who is an astronaut right now. He is a doctor, like medical doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Navy SEAL, and he's now an astronaut. So like he's hit 3 of the big childhood dreams, like that most kids have, like being an astronaut or Navy SEAL or doctor. Yeah, he's hit all 3 of those.
He's done it all.
Yep.
Nice. That's crazy. There's lots of people out there doing amazing things like that.
Yeah.
Could you handle being at sea for months at a time? I get too seasick. I wouldn't mind trying it. I would prefer being deployed. Sure, it's like a city on the water. That's kind of a cross between I'd get too seasick and I wouldn't mind trying it. I would like to do it, but I feel like I would get seasick. I've been on a cruise before. I was okay. Had moments of seasickness, but I don't know if I would get used to it being on it at for a longer period of time, or if it would just get worse. So it'd be tough to call. But I think I would say I wouldn't mind trying it, if anything.
I would say
no.
I would rather be deployed.
Yeah.
But technically they call in the Navy anytime they go out of port, they call that being deployed. So
right.
I mean
it's a weird worded question.
It's a weird wording, but I mean it'd definitely be interesting to be out there for like a month or 2. I feel like. Yeah. But I don't think I'd want to be out there very long. Like get me back to dry land or get me off this boat.
Get me off this boat.
I've been on bases where you can't go off base very often, so it's kind of like you get stir crazy, and I can imagine it's only 10 times worse being out in the ocean.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you carry a pocket knife? I don't own one. I do. I have one in my vehicle, or I carry a taser. Well, I do own one, but I don't carry it. And that's not really an option. And I don't have it in my vehicle either. So, I don't know. I don't carry a taser. I guess I kind of say I have one in my vehicle. I have one of those tools that, like, if you get stuck, you can like break your window and cut your seatbelt. So it's kind of like a pocket knife, but it's not really.
Yeah.
Not really. So I guess I'm going to say I don't own one because that's the closest answer, but I do. But
well, I'd say probably it's in your vehicle would be closest. I mean, the seatbelt cutter is a knife of sorts.
But it's not really a knife. It's like on the handle, and it's like you.
It's still technically a blade.
All right, we'll go with it.
I carry one. Here it is. No, I'd carry a pocket knife. I've got one in my vehicle. I've got multi-tools in my vehicle, my wife's vehicle. I've got a pocket knife in my wife's vehicle. I've never carried a taser.
No. I don't know many people.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, first of all, aren't tasers mostly illegal in most places? Nah, anyways.
Sure.
But yeah.
That's kind of different. You're going from a pocket knife to a taser. It's a little bit different there, but
yeah.
Okay, whatever question. Are you prepared for a power outage? I have a couple of scented candles. I could last for years. I have a 3-day supply. My phone is charged. Maybe a 3-day supply for me, I'd say. I'll go with that.
I'm
not really prepared. Not that much, no.
I would say 3-day supply. Yeah.
Okay.
When I was at my parents' house, definitely 3 to a week.
Yeah.
3 days to a week, if not longer.
Couldn't last for years?
Could, but it would be one of those, like, you would actually have to start like hunting and doing other stuff to like supplement what you had in the house. But
yeah,
like where I'm at right now, it's like, no, yeah, that's not happening.
No, that's kind of, yeah.
I really do need to get hurricane prepared before hurricane season hits down here. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll be stocking up a little bit.
Yeah. Which of these things do you fear the most? Failure, zombies, spiders, or heights? All of the above. Probably, if anything, zombies the least. I hate spiders. I'm afraid of spiders. I don't like heights, but I can manage heights. Failure, I don't like failing. I don't like failing whatsoever. But spiders, man. I've gotten better with spiders, though.
Yeah.
I've gotten better with spiders. So I guess I'm going to say failure.
Yeah. So heights, I'm not a huge fan, actually. But like you said, you manage it.
Yeah.
I do have an interesting fact on that one. 34 feet is the part where you start losing depth perception and like finite detail. And that's actually where like your fear of heights really starts.
Kicking in, yeah.
Yeah, anything over 34 feet and you're fine because your eyes can't figure it out.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So parents, if you're listening, don't let your kids jump higher than 34 feet off the ground.
Right.
Spiders. Yeah. I mean, you live with them, you learn to deal with them. It's not like,
what about like a tarantula or something? Like
not a huge fan, but it's one of those, you can learn to overcome certain fears. I mean, exposure therapy and all that stuff.
You throw a tarantula at me, I might be. I'm in the next state as soon as. I'm house is burning down. I'm gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say my biggest thing is failure.
Not afraid of zombies.
Zombies aren't real, though. Honestly, I don't like playing Call of Duty Zombies at all. I think it's dumb. I really don't like it. I don't really like the jump scare thing. I think that's what it is, and that's what most zombie movies play to. It's the jump scare, like go around the corner and there they are.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead's a pretty funny movie though.
Yeah.
Yeah, failure. I failed once or twice, and like, quick story. So I was at my first day of OCS, and I was made the commander of like 20 or 30 people. And they gave us like 10 minutes to do a task. Well, by the time I actually got to put out the information, it was at 9 minutes, and everybody had a minute to get it done. They couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
So while everybody else was getting punished, I had to stand there and watch. And that was the worst feeling in the world.
Wow.
Like, and that is something I will never, ever forget.
Yeah.
So yeah, failure is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you like hunting or fishing more? I prefer grocery shopping. I enjoy both of them. I like fishing a lot more, and I'm an avid hunter. Honestly, I don't think I've ever really been hunting. I've only fished a time or two. I wouldn't say I dislike them. I just never really done them. So I guess I got to go with prefer grocery shopping.
I like both.
Yeah.
I'm definitely both. That's really what my dad, thankfully, he took me fishing a lot growing up, as well as hunting. Really instilled that bug in me. It's actually one of the things I'm trying to do this week is get my hunting and fishing license for South Carolina, so I can actually start doing that again.
Nice.
Because for me, like, it's not about actually like ethically taking game and like so whenever I hunt, I only hunt what I'm going to eat. I don't hunt for like I sport hunt, but it's not like I'm more of if I'm going to kill something, I'm going to eat. That's the way I was taught.
Yeah.
That's the way I hunt.
Yeah.
Fishing, I do what's called catch and release. So I catch fish and then I release back in the wild. Like it's more of just the excitement of being out there and connecting with nature and the game and trying to pit yourself against the wilderness.
Yep.
If I had to eat fish that I caught, I could. I haven't done it in a really, really long time, but I definitely could if I had to. So, I mean, that's something that's my fun hobbies that I really get to do besides play video games at night.
Right. So hunting and fishing. Nice. Very good. What kind of boots do you wear most often? Hiking boots, combat boots, work boots, or cowboy boots? Hiking boots. Hiking boots for me, yeah. I've never worn a cowboy boot. I don't think I've ever worn an official combat boot and work boot. I guess I have worn work boot before, but not in a while. So yeah, hiking boot.
So obviously I'm in uniform. Combat boots is pretty much my go-to Monday through Friday work attire.
Yep.
Normally on the weekends I'm wearing cowboy boots. But I have worn work boots and I have worn hiking shoes.
Right.
I don't currently own a pair of hiking shoes because I just use my combat boots because they're essentially the same thing.
They're meant for whatever terrain.
Yeah, and I still have both pairs of my work boots that I wore whenever I was in the natural gas field after college. Yeah. They're kind of like my go-to. I got to work around the house.
Yeah.
So I've worn them all.
Yep. No surprise there.
Yeah.
What do you respect most about the Air Force? I love their air shows. It takes a lot of work to fly a plane. Their uniforms are cool. I don't know much about the Air Force. I mean, yeah, the air shows are cool. Their uniforms are cool. But I mean, it takes a lot of work to fly a plane. That's pretty awesome, being able to fly a plane. So definitely going with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with takes a lot of work. I mean, I love their air shows. They're pretty awesome to watch, but their uniforms are not cool.
Not as cool as ours.
I was actually, what's funny is they just a year or two ago, they went from what they had to the Army uniforms because they were like, well, their uniform works better, so we're just going to go with it.
Nice.
Yeah, it takes a ton of work to fly planes. I've flown and maintained helicopters. Flown in and maintained helicopters, so it's definitely a lot of work.
Right. Where do you keep your first aid kit? I don't have one. Which one? I have one in my medicine cabinet. It's around here somewhere. I mean, a full-on first aid kit? No, I don't have one. I have a few things here or there, but a full-on first aid kit? No, I don't have one.
So military issued me one, and so I've got multiple over the years. Some stuff I've collected, some stuff it's just, whatever the government issued to me. Yeah. And then, of course, you got the house first aid kit of like bandages and rubbing alcohol and stuff. And I think that's somewhere in my wife's closet or in the
somewhere in the house
underneath the bathroom sink. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. But you actually have like a full on, like, is it in a case, like with actual actual
Yeah.
first aid kit? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like a tourniquet. It's got what's called a chest seal. So if you've like punctured your lung, you can put it on there. It's got essentially kind of looks like a bendy straw and it goes up your nose to help provide a airway, nasopharyngeal airway. Yeah. Try saying that 5 times fast.
No, thank you.
And some wraps and different stuff and bandages. So
yeah,
it's like a full on legitimate, like, stop bleeding, keep blood in the person, and get them medical help type kit.
Interesting.
Yep. I've also got trauma shears that I can cut a penny with.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I used that party trick once or twice whenever I was at the fraternity.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Oh, geez.
I think you had graduated. I think it was like the spring of 14.
Okay.
Come back off of flying or whatever, and I had them. And
hey guys, you want to see a cool trick?
Yeah.
Do you want to see a half a cent?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you still sleep with a nightlight? Sometimes I do. I sleep with protection nearby. I leave a light on somewhere in the house. I need to sleep in the dark. I wouldn't say it's a nightlight, but I leave my TV on. I guess that's kind of like a nightlight in a way.
So that's not good for you, BK.
Really? Why?
So the blue light from electronic devices actually keeps you up longer and keeps your brain functioning longer.
Yeah, well, as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm pretty much out. So I usually don't have an issue with that. But you're saying, I guess maybe it's not full. It's not deep sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can sleep in the dark. I just usually leave the TV on until it goes. I put on sleep or whatever. But
yeah, I'm sure you got a smart TV where it eventually shuts off anyways. Yeah. So I mean, either way, it's still not good for you.
Yeah. Oh well.
Just looking out for you, buddy.
I know. Thanks. I don't get enough sleep to begin with, so.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
So my wife likes nightlights. I don't think we have any in our bedroom, but I think there's one in like the bathroom and definitely one in the hallway.
Yeah.
Well, I should take that back. There was one in the hallway. My daughter decided to pull it out the other day, and I'm like, nope, that's gone. And I told my wife, nope, don't put it back.
Yeah.
It was just that perfect height where she was just like, yeah, I'm gonna pull it.
Yeah. Yep.
Gotta love toddlers, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So you leave it on somewhere in the house, not necessarily in the yeah. So it's dark in the bedroom, but if you need to get up for whatever reason, there's some light on that you can see enough or whatever.
I've got a flashlight in the drawer, like on my nightstand. So I mean, if I really had to, I could see what I need to see.
Right. Which of these veterans would you like to have dinner with?
Ooh.
John McCain, Morgan Freeman, Ice-T, or Oliver North? Not any of the veterans you were thinking of, I don't think.
No, not necessarily, but I mean, they're all pretty
cool. Yeah, right. I didn't even know Morgan Freeman was a veteran.
Yeah, I think he was in the Air Force.
Okay. Probably him for me.
I'm gonna look that up actually because now I'm curious.
Intrigued, yeah. I don't know who Oliver North is.
He was a Marine colonel who got caught in a scandal during the Reagan administration for the Iran-Contra affair. So basically, they were selling guns to the Contras in South America, and they were getting from them to Iran or something like that. It was something weird.
Huh.
But now I think the last time I saw him, he was a commentator on Fox.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, but Morgan Freeman would be awesome. It'd be awesome to have dinner with Morgan Freeman. Now listen here.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman was in the Air Force.
That's a terrible Morgan Freeman impression. BK, what did you do that for?
It's okay.
All right.
I mean, everybody knows. I mean, at this point, if you don't know who Morgan Freeman is, you've probably been living under a rock.
Yeah. What about you? Who you having dinner with?
So it was Morgan Freeman, Oliver North, Ice-T, and who's
John McCain.
Oh man.
Morgan Freeman.
I'm gonna three-way tie. Honestly, I mean, having dinner with any of them would be cool. I think Morgan Freeman would be fun. and like really interesting to hear him talk about his life because I feel like he's very down to earth. Ice-T, I know he was in the Army. I know he basically did his time and got out, but he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oliver North, I mean,
cool to hear his story, right?
Cool to hear his story, but honestly, John McCain, I think, is going to edge him out just enough because, I mean, he was a POW in like Vietnam, spent time in the Hanoi Hilton, like to hear his story and to understand it and like to talk to him about those experiences. Like, don't get me wrong, Morgan Freeman, he did his time, got out.
Yeah.
Ice-T did his time and got out. Oliver North kind of got pushed out, which,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
He may or may not have been doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But to hear John McCain's story, I think would probably be like that thing to have dinner with. So
nice. Cool. Oh, that's it. All right. So are you fit for the military? My answer.
This ought to be good.
Not military material. Straight up, not military material. Your informative answers tell us a lot of things about you. One of them is that you are not good fit for the military. We hope that you do not view our determination as bad news. Truthfully, it means some great things for you. You are destined to take over corporate world, and your future bank account will never be slim.
That's the truth. I mean,
oh my god,
military does not pay super well.
Yeah,
it is the government after all.
That's funny. Got not military material. Yeah, kind of figured that'd be the answer.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who you are. Huh?
Yeah.
You know who you are. Oh boy, that's funny. Not even remotely. Not even like you could make it if you really tried. Nope, just nah.
No,
you're not.
No.
Not you. Sorry.
Yeah, you'd have to shave off that sweet.
We don't want you. Yeah. We don't want you.
That was fine. That was the final thing to put it over top. Can't shave the goatee.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. Oh, geez. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, that was fun, though. That was fun. I enjoyed that. It's good to hear some of your answers, though, too. That's cool. Yep. All right. So this episode is actually going to be coming out on Memorial Day. So Chris and I, we've talked in the past about Memorial Day and what that kind of means, and not necessarily that people don't appreciate it enough, but they don't necessarily put the meaning behind it first. They kind of do more celebrating and family gathering and kind of push to the side what it really should be for. So Chris, obviously being a military guy, obviously understands the magnitude of what Memorial Day truly is, and all the people that have, done their time, put their lives on the line, and have passed away, I guess in a way you say, but all the people that have done so many amazing things, and gotta remember them on Memorial Day. You gotta appreciate all the people that have done so many amazing things. Obviously we both agree that it's great to spend time with your family and use it as a reason to gather, but at the same time, you still got to keep in mind what it truly is for, what it was truly meant for as a holiday. So Chris, I know you want to try to chime in.
So like BK was saying, Memorial Day is not a bad thing. I mean, people celebrating with their families and friends and unofficial start of summer, that's not a bad thing. I mean, first let's establish what Memorial Day is. Memorial Day is a day to remember those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, given their lives for this country. And not to discredit, veterans who passed away or anything. It's the ones who actually have died in combat or during their time of service. Personally, I've had 3 friends pass away, or I've known or had some sort of direct impact of 3 people's lives who died while they were serving our country. The first one was Staff Sergeant Daniel Lightner Jr. He was from Duncansville, Pennsylvania. He died in 2005 in Iraq. My dad was what they call the casualty NCO. Basically, he was responsible for helping the family set up funeral arrangements and attending the funeral, and basically being that point of contact from the military for the family. I've met his mom, I've met his sister and his brother, or half brother. I can't remember. It's just been a while since I've seen or talked to him.
Yeah.
Amazing man. Really, kind of that salt of the earth people. He was a Pennsylvania State Trooper, loved to help out different kids, a lot of like very active in his church, helped out a lot with youth ministry, stuff like that. So yeah, and I think I did meet him once. And then I've had two friends who passed away in a helicopter crash in Afghanistan while I was actually deployed in 2013. That was April 9th. That was really a heartbreaking day for me. My grandfather passed away like a week or two before. I wasn't able to come home for the funeral, and then my friends passed away in a helicopter crash. And like you hear about, and the first thing that happened is your heart sinks. You go through who it was, this person, was that person. Man, I really hope it wasn't this person. They just had a kid and all this stuff, and you feel some guilt, or you find out it wasn't that person. But yeah, it was a hard day. Definitely one of the hardest days on my deployment. And then recently I've had two friends who were killed in a helicopter crash, actually, while they were over in the United States. There was a helicopter crash earlier this year in New York. I knew two of the pilots that crashed. I actually served with them on that deployment, CW5 Deep Skoda and CW3 Christian Koch. Both great guys. Like Mr. Skoda was pretty awesome. Kind of like gruff teddy bear. I mean, it's the way we described him.
Yeah.
And then Christian Koch was really down to earth, really nice person. And there was another gentleman that passed away, but I didn't know him. And then I also had a friend from my deployment who just recently passed away, and I'm not sure how he passed away. Christian Vertaler. So he doesn't technically fall into the Memorial Day category, but really good guy. And I just wanted to, the idea of Memorial Day for a lot of vets and a lot of soldiers and sailors and military personnel is like, as long as you speak their name and remember them, they technically are never dead. So my personal thoughts on Memorial Day are, I used to be of a certain mentality of, how dare you, celebrate, and, it's a day of solemn remembrance and like, kind of those negative vibes, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But then as I've gotten older and time's passed, I mean, they say time heals all wounds. And I would definitely say that, my perspective has changed. And I've read some really good articles. I've heard some really good songs on this. I would say that, there's nothing wrong with celebrating with your family. There's nothing wrong with having a good time on Memorial Day. It's nothing wrong to talk about, the start of summer. But, remembering those people and the fact that they gave not only their life, but any future they had for you is definitely the way to kind of take Memorial Day, and like to celebrate in their honor would be the best way to go about it.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I'm at now that I'm older and wiser, supposedly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. And nothing wrong with wishing people a happy Memorial Day. Not entirely appropriate, but kind of. So there's actually 3 holidays that honor the military. There's Armed Forces Day, and those are for the ones who are currently serving. Veterans Day, which is November 11th, and that's for the ones who have taken off the uniform. And and then there's Memorial Day, which is this holiday, which is where we honor like the ones who have given their lives in the service of this country. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now.
Good. I'm glad you're seeing a different way of looking at it. Like you said, obviously it is nice to spend the day with family or whatever, but like you said, you really do want to at least spend a portion of the day, or even just in the back of your mind, thinking and honoring and remembering, and even if you don't know anyone specifically, just appreciating in your heart and in your mind that there were so many people out there, and there are just numerous counts of people that did amazing things and lost their lives while serving, and appreciating them, thanking them, remembering their legacy, whether or not they were in newspapers or stories or whatever. There's so many people out there that did amazing things that unfortunately did not make it back from their time serving, and honoring them and appreciating them for what they did for you and for your family to be able to spend Memorial Day together. Something that you still need to hold in your heart on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing for sure.
No, I will say this, and this is the only semi-negative thing I will say about Memorial Day. I do think that all the sales and everything that stores have, nothing against stores. I like having sales. I'm always looking out for a good sale myself.
Yeah.
I do think they do tend to, and I get it, companies need to make money so that they can feed their employees and everything. I understand the economic part of it, but it's like, come on, man. Like,
yeah,
I feel like there's more appropriate time to have sale. Like, have it the weekend before, call it something else. Just,
start a summer sale.
Yeah. Start a summer sale, not Memorial Day sale. Like that. I feel like that's mildly disrespectful, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got you there. I got you. But all in all, it's a humbling day. It's a humbling holiday, a respectful holiday, but it still can be, it still can be bright. It still can be positive.
Yep.
For sure. It's a time to spend with family, and a time to remember and honor those who have fallen. But that's kind of, it's kind of what it is. And it's one of those days where it's kind of half and half. It's not super fun and exciting, but it's not super somber and just very sad. It should be kind of a mix,
a bittersweet. Bittersweet's a good word.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But so that's kind of a personal, an army individual's take on it, and how we can properly celebrate Memorial Day in the correct fashion. So Chris, I appreciate your view on that, and I will hopefully, try to do my part in appreciating those who have served and fallen, and do that properly on Memorial Day as well.
I mean, if you don't mind me saying something, BK.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess one way you could really do that is, if you see a veteran, especially older veterans, go up, shake their hand, say thank you for your service. I mean, and ask questions. If you have a few minutes, ask them a question about their service. Some of the best and most interesting times I've ever had, even as a soldier, was asking older veterans, to talk to me about their experiences. And a lot of them, especially the older, like World War II generation, if they've lost friends, guys and gals in combat, they will probably tell you more about them than they will themselves.
Yeah.
And that's one thing to help keep their memory alive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's definitely one thing you can do. I mean, if some veterans don't want to talk about it because it was too painful, or still is too painful, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, and to my fellow veterans out there who may be listening or not listening, or watching this, if you're experiencing that, please talk to someone that you trust. Get help. There's plenty of help out there. Please get help. We don't want to lose you too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great point. One of the biggest things is a lot, like you said, a lot of those veterans, they've had people they've known that have passed, and allowing them to honor the memory of their friends by talking about it with somebody is a great thing for them. A lot of people brings back good memories, even whether or not they lost somebody. That's still you're honoring their memory, and that's the biggest thing you could do is appreciating somebody's legacy, somebody's memory, and not just allowing them to fade away. Just continue to think about them and honor them. That's a huge thing, no doubt. And like you said, spending just a minute or two of your time to thank a veteran or honor a veteran by showing them appreciation in any way, shape, or form is a great and a simple thing to do. Absolutely, absolutely. So if you know anybody, send them a message, anyway, you send them a text or anything. Just reach out to anybody who's a veteran or whatever, and let them know you're thinking about them, and you would like to honor their friends' memories or whatever in any way, shape that you can. Absolutely. That's great idea, Chris. Great idea. All right, let's wrap this up with a couple bright stories of the week. So I have one from my cousin's daughter. My cousin was telling me the story where her daughter was running around trying to find her one day, and she wrote my cousin a note, her mother a note, and the note read, let me pull it up real quick. The note read, "Mom, hey Mom, I think it's just mind-blowing how much you care about other people. I love you so much, more than you'll ever know. And I also, it's so amazing how you'll put someone else's needs before yours." Love
Wow.
that. Yeah. So a young daughter.
How young?
11.
Wow.
Yes.
Preteen.
I think, yeah. And I think she was,
Wow.
I think she was excited too, because it was written in cursive, but, but just, what really struck me is basically selflessness, recognizing selflessness. She took the time to write a note to her mother, thanking her mother for who she is. And in reality, she's showing her value as a person, seeing the brightness in other people as well. So it was just like, It was double brightness there. And I was like, wow, that is absolutely amazing. So
especially like at that preteen stage,
yeah.
like I feel like kids nowadays are getting like more teenager, like the younger they are, and like hearing stuff like that, like really makes you appreciate and realize the next generation isn't going to be too bad.
Yeah. It's not. That's what I always keep saying, is that the world's not as bad as some people make it out to be. There's still plenty of people like that, even at a young age, showing appreciation for others, being selfless, trying to brighten people's days. It's out there. It's out there. So don't lose hope in the young generation whatsoever, or in any generation, honestly. But yeah, and props to Mom for being a good example and a good role model, because it's coming from her. It's her. She's setting a good example for sure, but at the same time, for the daughter to recognize it and appreciate it and go out of her way to make sure her mom realizes as well is absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
Yep. So thanks for sharing that. Appreciate it. Yep. And Chris, I believe you have a story as well.
I do.
Nice.
So this morning, my wife, my daughter, myself, my father-in-law, mother-in-law, and my oldest niece, all my wife's side of the family. Basically, we went down to what's called the Soda City Market in Columbia, South Carolina. Really cool place to go. That is a pitch for them. They're not going to endorse me or anything. It's just one of those. It's like a street vendor market like you would see in Europe or whatnot. And it's they've got people from all over making handcrafts, and they do it year round. I was actually really impressed. Anyways, so it was my daughter was holding my hand, and we were walking down the street, and there were three gentlemen in American Legion vests. And considering it's Memorial Day weekend, and also because I'm a veteran and I respect older veterans, I respect their age and wisdom. I decided to take my daughter up to them. Actually, I think I was holding my daughter at the time, but I shook each of their hands, so thank you for your service. And you can tell that that really like kind of made their day. Like somebody actually took their time out and like specifically shook their hands. And then as we're walking away, I'm telling my daughter she's not going to remember this, or probably will eventually learn that like people like that, we go up to them and we shake their hand and we say thank you for what they've done and for what they've experienced. I mean, so I'm already trying to lay the foundation and the groundwork for sharing that bright connection of we thank people because we appreciate what they did.
Yes.
even if we don't understand it, or if we don't have the time necessarily to sit there and talk to them about what they did, but just to kind of like be thankful for what we have.
Yes.
So I mean,
it only took a quick second or two.
Yep.
And like you said, I'm sure the impact it made on them was tremendous. Somebody taking just a small portion of their day and appreciating and showing the appreciation. Yeah. Absolutely huge.
I mean, I also think that, or at least I like to think that, from one veteran to another, I feel like they probably appreciate it more, because sometimes I feel like veterans, just like any other group of people, like we were talking about super fans earlier for Pittsburgh, we tend to eat our own. Like if you have the wrong opinion or you don't like this about that person, we kind of like say you're wrong and we disown you, right? So veterans can be like that, and sometimes even worse, petty. But I feel like that, showing that, we're all human. I mean, just in and of itself is definitely something that I think may have made a difference.
Yeah.
Who knows what kind of impact I just made.
Yeah.
Or that my daughter will have made. Either way, like, you're sharing bright connections, and that's what really matters.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
That's my bright story of the week.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. That means that's it. Wrap that up. Another great episode of Bright Connections. Chris, I can't thank you enough for coming on, sharing your thoughts, your opinions, your stories. It was a lot of fun talking to you again, obviously. More than just he's on your left, no, behind you, behind.
Live ping.
Like, where'd you die? More than just video game commentary. It was good to really talk with you again. So I appreciate your time. Hopefully you and your family continue to do well. Hopefully the move continues to progress smoothly, and hopefully you get some free time on your hand to just hang out and enjoy life, and see some brightness in your world.
Sounds good, BK. And hey, if you're ever down my way, like, let me know.
Okay.
Come on. I've got a spare room.
Come on down.
Come on down. We're only 2 hours from the beach, 2 hours from the mountains.
Ooh. Don't tempt me.
Bring it.
All right. All right, Chris. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Not a problem, BK.
All right,
Hope
guys.
you have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Guys, thanks again, obviously, for joining, for listening. If you could take a second to share the video, the YouTube video, follow us on social media, like the video, comment on the video what you thought. And if you want to take the time to thank Chris for all he's done for our country, I would appreciate that as well. Take just a half second to type a comment up for him. I would appreciate that. And I'm sure he would too. Otherwise, enjoy your week, enjoy your Memorial Day, and don't forget to remember and honor those who have took their time to serve and have fallen, serving our country, and to keep you safe and you and your family safe. So enjoy. Have a wonderful and bright week, and be sure to go out and do something nice for somebody else. And we'll see you next time, guys. Take care.